Hello, in this video, we're going to learn a little bit more about the string class. We use the string class or string type in our employee class, for example. We defined fields of type string. The string class is one of the most widely used classes, so I think it's good to spend a video just learning about that. So we'll close this, we'll create a new class, and we will name it string test and the main method. Hit finish. I'm going to define a string. So as we saw the syntax before, it's the type name, the string. Let's call it name equals John. So we can define another string um, title equals programmer, right? So they are two different strings. When you create a string, what happens is a particular memory location is allocated to store the string, and the reference of that is stored in the variable, right? So if you create string result equals name plus, let's add a space here, plus, so what we're basically doing is concatenating the two strings, right? So this essentially creates a brand new string in memory and stores it to result. So at this point there are three strings, right, created and stored in memory, and we have references to each of them. We can print the result, println of result. If you save and do the right click run as Java application, you'll get John space programmer, right? So that's how string performs. String is basically what we call an immutable type. So if you create a string, it never changes. If you concatenate or you alter the string, it always creates a new string in memory, right? We can test it by doing this. So let's create string um, new result equals result, right? So what we are saying is create a new variable of type string, but basically assign it to the same string that we had earlier, right? Now at this time, if I change result equals 1, 2, 3, so result at this point has John space programmer, and we are making new result point to result, right? Same as result. Now we are changing result to 1, 2, 3, right? Let's save it and print. So we have 1, 2, 3. Now at this time, if we print new result, let's see what we get. So I'm going to copy paste this guy, but this time I'm going to print new result. Run it. As you can see, new result still is John space programmer, right? Just because we made this association, right? If you change result, that does not change new result because it's an altogether new string. Because strings are immutable, whenever you perform any operation, it creates a new string, right? That is very key to, that's a big key to remember, right? Apart from these, there are some methods in string class that are very useful. For example, if I do result, or let's say new result, because it's a longer string, dot, Eclipse will show you all the methods defined in string class that you can use. And there are a ton of methods. So the same concatenation we did here with the plus sign, you could do with this concat. You could check if a string ends with a particular set of characters, right? If you can check if two strings are equal, um, things like that. So there is also a length. We saw earlier arrays had a length, um, but this is a length method that you can call. So I can say system.out.println new result.length, right? If I run it, get 15. So John space programmer is 15 in length. So the length method is a very commonly used method. Just like there are several methods that you can use. I would really like to encourage you to just play with some of the methods to see how they perform. We did see the equals, so we're going to test it real quick because it's very important. Now, if we want to check if new result equals result, right? Earlier, we learned the, I'm going to create the if block. We know that to check equality, we did result equals new result. Right? This is what we did earlier when we worked with integers, right, and numbers and stuff. But when it comes to string, you cannot do this because when you check this, it just checks if the two of them are pointing to the same memory location. It's not really checking the equality, right? To check equality, we will have to use the equals method that we saw, right? Equals. So this would be the right syntax. So you're going to have to use the equals method. I need to close the parenthesis here. So you need to call rest result dot equals new result. Then you can println results are the strings are equal or the same, something like that, right? If you run it, you won't get anything output because we had changed the result, right? Now if I go ahead and comment this out and now I run it, you get the strings are the same, right? That's because they're both pointing to the same location. You can also say result equals John space programmer. Still the strings are same, right? So the equals method actually checks if the two strings have the same set of characters, if they are truly equal. You cannot do a two equal sign to check because that's a common error people make. You need to remember to check equality for strings, you need to use this method and not the two equal sign. And so there is another method called equals ignore case, which, as the name says, it doesn't check. It checks if the strings are equal, but it ignores if if one of them is in caps and one of them is in lowercase. We can quickly test that as well. So we're gonna do the same check on equals ignore case of new result, but this time we will change it to John programmer, right, and run it. You would get the strings are same. Now, if you had used the regular equals, you will not get the output back because the actual this equals also checks for the case, but the equals ignore case basically ignores the case. That's basically string. Like I said, string has a lot of methods that you can play with to see how they perform. It's one of the widely used classes, and many of the methods defined in string class will come in handy when you code bigger Java programs in future. So I would really like to encourage you to try the methods out. Make sure you're comfortable with this class because it's one of the most important ones in Java. That's basically it. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.